society picks the people they think are the experts, but the people in the street laugh. You have a lot of people come to town that are writers and they're photographers and whatever, but they never take the time to really get into the culture the way Mike did. Because when you was from the streets or you lived this culture, it's something that's unique and special, because a lot of people get involved in this, but only a few people get to stay. When I met Mike 20-some years ago, it was like the first thing we talked about is Indian. Anything that Mike could do for you, he did it. And he did it 100%. And the best part about it, he never throwed it up in your face. Whenever I had an idea or anything, Mike would take pictures for me. Mike would send me books. Mike would do everything he could to help you make a suit.
He was always involved in freedom. This is my dad's theme of his life and all of his work and the things he writes and talks about. He was honoring what he called freedom rituals. That's Mardi Gras, masking, music, food, church, spirituality. To him, it all was the same. It was about freedom.
He was photographing jazz funerals, some second-line parades, Mardi Gras Indians, and then the spiritual churches. But the first thing that got published is Spirit World. That book is so from the heart. It really describes how he became enamored of the churches and they of him, and how the permission developed for him not to just come inside, but how he eventually became asked to photograph them when they were in the spirit. He had held back from that, thinking, oh, this is too personal. This is the one thing I can't do in the church. And he says in his book, they ask him the next day, I want to see myself, you know, when I'm in this revelation. And he had to say, well, I didn't think I should photograph. And they said, oh, please do.
His nanny, Magnolia Luckett, was a very, very spiritual woman. And I think that Magnolia was Mike's emotional connection to passion and spirituality. And that's what led him and drew him towards the spiritual churches.
Mike went to Cuba, I think, 4 times. He first went in the mid-70s with a filmmaker from California, Les Blank. He found so many cultural similarities of the parades down there, of the spiritual women holding dolls, just like his famous photo of his friend Archbishop Guilford in the spiritual church. There were just all these visual similarities.
My daddy was one of the founders of Tipitinas, and it was created, you know, around Professor Longhair. Tipitinas, the title, which, you know, Allison Minor, Quint Davis, those guys had rediscovered Fess in terrible distress, and this was one of my dad's lifelong passions. The original intent of Tipitinas was to create a venue to support these great artists and to make them accessible and to just give them work. Anyway, so Mike was one of the founders of Tipitinas, and it was always an advocate for musicians, always an advocate for creativity, always an advocate for civil rights, justice, fairness, balance.
He wasn't just doing it as a study and then dropping the topic. He did it his whole life. And he would come back in the community. He would give out photographs. He would be invited to their banquets. They'd see Mike, they wouldn't just see Mike out on the street or in the church when something special was going on. They'd see Mike around all the time.
But he wasn't just a Mardi Gras friend. He was a friend 365 days a year, and add one more if it was Lee. But he was Mike. He was a person that was there for you. They got a lot of guys don't want to admit it, but if it wouldn't have been for Mike, there was a lot of guys that didn't have work. He'd give them work or find them work, or there were guys that needed help. He would go beyond his boundaries to help you. But when you say friend, that's what you say. Mike was really a friend, you know?